Richard K., the writer who knew Diana best, and his colleague Geoffrey Levy bring you the full untold story of Diana and Camilla's bitter rivalry. Mrs. Camilla Parker Bowles was angry, very angry indeed. Puffing furiously on a cigarette and shedding ash on the bedroom carpet as she paced to and fro, no one within earshot could have been left in any doubt how she felt. Camilla had just been told that Princess Diana was coming to her sister Annabel Elliott's 40th birthday party. Why did that FB have to come? She stormed. The bitter words resounded through Ormley Lodge, the Georgian house on the edge of Richmond Park, and were overheard by staff preparing the Indian-themed party. It was being hosted by Annabel's close friend, Lady Annabel Goldsmith, at that time the wife of Tycoon Sir James, owner of the lodge. It was Diana's unexpected decision to attend that had driven Camilla up the wall. Charles had been invited and, as a courtesy, so had Diana, but no one seriously expected her to turn up. Why? Because Diana knew Camilla would be there and the house would be filled with sycophantic friends, most of whom Diana referred to as Oilers. As for Camilla, she had anticipated having Charles cozily all to herself at the party. The year was 1989, a mere 8 years after that glorious wedding at St. Paul's Cathedral, but a world away from all the optimism and hope that had radiated from the bride and groom. Behind palace doors, the magic of the fairy-tale summer's day had long since dissipated, though, as yet, the public knew little of this. Outwardly the prince and princess, with their 2 young sons William and Harry, seemed happy. In reality, as the world would learn soon enough, the marriage was in disarray. Charles had rekindled his lifelong passion for Camilla, and Diana had found consolation in the arms of cavalryman James Hewitt. What astonished Charles's friends, who were in on the secret of what the French call un amour fou, an insane love, was how openly proprietorial Mrs. Parker Bowles was becoming with the prince, and all while still married herself to Guards Officer Andrew Parker Bowles. Her expletive-ridden outburst that February night as she changed in one of Lady Annabel's bedrooms came just before 100 guests began arriving for the party in Ormley Lodge's spacious basement, where 10 tables for 10 were being set. It was to be the opening scene for an extraordinary encounter between the mistress and the wife, one that has been gossiped about ever since. Now, having spoken to figures who were there and pieced together the chain of events leading up to the confrontation, we can reveal exactly what did happen that party night, the night Diana was forced to realize that her marriage had died. By this time Diana and Charles had not shared a bed for years. Camilla had arranged to come early because she was involved in helping plan her sister's party. 9 miles away at Kensington Palace, Princess Diana was also getting ready for the party, very specially ready. She knew she had not been expected to accept the invitation, but late in the day had made up her mind to go because of her frustration at how the older woman was taking her place at the prince's side. Not tonight, she told herself. The truth of that confrontation as Diana faced Mrs. Parker Bowles is far more nuanced than just an explosive exchange between 2 women who saw each other as rivals. In reality, this was the night Diana hoped to win her husband back. Her plan was not to challenge Camilla but simply to outdazzle her rival. She and Charles no longer shared a bed. By this time they had not slept together for years. As we have learned, that night Diana laid her plans with exquisite precision. They were, as she put it, from the inside out. She wanted to eclipse Camilla not only with her dress but also what she wore underneath it. She knew exactly what she had in mind as, earlier in the day, she had slipped into Harrod's lingerie department. Now she stood in front of her own full-length dressing room mirror, gazing at her reflection. The exotic lingerie she had bought that afternoon was more daring than her usual ensemble, briefer, naughtier, more provocative. This was her desperate, possibly naive, gamble to rekindle the all-but extinct sexual passion in her marriage. She was realistic about the competition. Camilla may have been 14 years older than she was, but Diana knew the seasoned Mrs. Parker Bowles had a comfortably bosomed allure that Charles, apparently, found irresistible. At that moment, as she would tearfully relate the following day to a confidant, the prince looked in, surveyed his lingerie-clad wife up and down and declared witheringly, "You look ridiculous." The close friend, an intimate of Diana who has never spoken out before, recalls her despair at being dismissed so coldly. "Those 3 words shattered her," says the confidant. "They changed the whole momentum of the evening." Worse, during the drive from Kensington Palace to Richmond Park, Charles expressed his irritation that she was coming with him. For her part, despite her distress at the way things were turning out, the ever-thoughtful Diana had not forgotten to bring flowers for the hostess, Lady Annabel. As Diana's former Scotland Yard bodyguard, the avuncular Kenworth, who accompanied the couple to the party, recalls, "When we got there it was a bit like one of those awkward scenes from Downton Abbey. Everyone was in total shock at seeing Diana there as they were his friends, not hers. I almost couldn't bear to see her humiliated in front of so many people. I felt very uncomfortable for her." It was late in the evening, dinner over, when that encounter took place. Most of the guests, including the princess, had moved upstairs to the drawing room, but not Charles and Camilla. When Diana went back down to see where Charles was, she found him and Camilla sitting together at a table talking with a male friend. As a rule, Diana went out of her way to avoid confrontation, but this time she came marching up. "Can you leave us?" she announced to Charles and the other man. "I want to talk to Camilla alone." As they meekly scuttled away, the prince murmured, "I feel like a naughty schoolboy." The remark may have been intended to leaven the ominous atmosphere, but he was fearful that Diana was going to cause an embarrassing scene. At this moment, someone diplomatically stepped in and offered the prince a tour of the goldsmith house. Only when they had gone did Diana launch into her attack, though many would think she was remarkably controlled. As revealed in the Diana tapes that we published in a previous video, the princess asked Camilla to sit down and told her, "I would just like you to know that I know exactly what is going on. I'm sorry I'm in the way. It must be hell for both of you, don't treat me like an idiot." As Diana related, Camilla's extraordinary response was to tell her, "You've got everything you ever wanted. You've got all the men in the world falling in love with you and you've got 2 beautiful children. What more could you want?" Diana responded, "I want my husband." What staggered the princess was Camilla virtually saying that because she had William and Harry as well as endless admiration from other men, it made it all right for her to be sleeping with her husband. That evening Diana had set out to save her marriage. But as she later admitted to friends, it was the evening she realized it was over.